Hello, hello. Nimekuwa na confusion, eh? Sorry for that. I lost network, so I have to redo the review. I had to recharge. Imagine 1 GB imeisha tu hivyo. Safaricom they wananyonya. But anyway, I'll have to redo again the review so that I can ensure that all details have been captured. So, as I was saying, I have owned this bike for the last 7 months, and so far I have done 20,000 km on it, and therefore it's high time I share my experience with you guys about this particular bike. I want to begin by sharing with you the things that have changed so far in terms of Kuipimp, not parts. I've done some few changes. One is to change the exhaust. I had to import an exhaust system. This is a slip-on but works very well. So if you're interested, I can actually get one for you. Two, I had to import the crash bobbins. This basically to protect the engine and the covers and so on, to ensure that at least when I drop it, I am safe. The other thing I had to add on it is the what do you call it? The radiator guard. This actually to protect the radiator fins to be super good, and when even doing the cleaning, they don't get damaged. The other thing I have changed is addition of what do you call these ones? The crash guards for the levers. Of course, branded Benelli. I also changed the levers. I don't like the stock, so I had to get something that is beautiful. I also had to change the side mirror. The stock one was so ugly, big, and to me I felt I don't want them. The other thing I changed is tail side. I had to remove the tail lights. Kuosha lazima tuosha. Even when you have it, you still get unaosha tu. So I had to remove it to have something neat. Yeah, this was done at Oyaya's place. Yeah, I think, and I had to ensure that I have this sticker on it, and 3D sticker. I think quite good, quite okay. These are the major things that I've added in the bike. The other one was the oil cap and master cylinder rear one. I had to change. I also changed the master cylinder. I actually want to change the whole of it. This one will still remain, but I want to have a clear one. Maybe probably I might get for JC. I think the JC, they have a good one. Probably I can have and change. I think those are the major things I've done in the bike. The stickers, you can see how they are looking beautiful. These were done locally by Aleki in Moya. So all my bikes actually take them there for stickers, and he does a very good job. If you're interested, I can link you up with him. The rear as well, you can see. Of course, I have to ensure that I'm branded Tony the HR. I think those are a few things I've done on the bike in terms of pimping it. Yeah, and I think from afar you can see it's a beautiful machine, quite a good looking machine. Now, let me speak about the parts I have changed so far in the bike. Simply because probably they were destroyed, or they got damaged, or they got worn out. One is this, the rear shock. Now, this shock, I think it's a factory issue, because even the previous gen I had was affected. I mean, was not working well. Started linking, is it linking or leaking, whichever. And then I had to change it, and I got a Dayuni one, the DY-5. They call it -5, Dayuni, the sport bike. and that shock actually worked well for that particular bike. I was lucky enough to get a stock. It goes around 10 Gs, and you're good, hoping that it won't get damaged again. I think that's the first part I've changed so far. The other part I've changed is gear sensor. This thing here, gear sensor. I think that's on. I have changed that one, which works hand in hand with this one, clutch sensor. So I've changed both of them. They always keep bringing check engine, so I had to change and see whether the check engine will get lost. Luckily enough, I have the machine to diagnose the bike, so I had to bring it myself to ensure at least I don't do guessworks when it comes to repairs and all that. The other thing that I've changed so far is the chain, but of course this is as a result of getting worn out. I actually changed it yesterday pale kwa Kimbuja Customs, and he did a very good job, so I appreciate him for that. But you know, these are wear and tear components that you must change at one point. So far I think those are the things I've changed on the bike, and I believe the reliability of this particular bike is, out of 100 I'll give 90%, because so far I haven't changed any other major part apart from the 3, which do not cost much. The only cost at time is the rear shock, the monoshock is 10 Gs, new one. But if you import, it can even go to up 18,000 if you don't have it local. So these are the major items I have changed in the bike so far. No other issue I have encountered. Electrical, no issue. Hardwares, no issue. Engine, no issue, still intact. I think so far so good. The experience is good. I want to speak about the speed and handling of this particular bike. One, let's talk about weight. This bike is damn heavy. A bike ni mzito. 196 kg, it's too heavy, and this can pose a challenge to all people who are short, because you might at one point fail to handle the weight, especially when taking turns. I personally have dropped it twice so far when taking a turn. One was at the parking. I dropped it just, I think, 3 weeks ago, and just the other day in Ruiro when taking a turn, I dropped it as a result of my leg being on a higher ground than the bike. So unakuta you are not stepping on the floor very well, and therefore the weight, if you're not keen, inakupeleka tu on your right side, and you're done. So this bike, for shorter people, it's not easy to handle when it comes to taking turns. You need to be extra careful. However, its maneuverability is extremely good in traffic. You only need to be so careful when taking turns, because then again, if when maneuvering and you fail to do your calculation very well, hauna bahati, you find yourself going down. One thing I want to mention, due to its weight, when you drop, leave alone an accident, when you drop, you might find yourself damaging the common parts. One is this one. When you look at this one, yangu iko bent kiasi as a result of dropping it, so the weight inafinya the part. The other part, if you don't have the crash bobbings, you might find damaged is this fairing. The other part that you might have a challenge when you drop and brake is your brake levers or clutch levers. So this comes in handy. If you can check, you will see some scratch on it. It has protected this good time. So that is the big challenge about this particular bike, the weight, and when you're taking turns. So you have to be extremely careful, especially if you're a shorter person. If you're tall, I think it's fine. You only need to do your calculation very well. When I sit on the bike, you can see my feet. I don't know, they are called feet, foot, or whatever it is. Unaona nimekanyanga vizuri chini. So this actually supports you very well. And trust me, with this, even if you're taking turns, you're okay. But if you're shorter and you're tiptoeing, trust me, you have a challenge. And therefore, for shorter people, you have to take a inaitangwa turn kubwa. What do you call it? When you're taking turns, the radius you have to take is wider, is not short. Because if you do a short one, you would find yourself on the floor, and it's dangerous, especially on pavements and roads that are not well built. So you might find yourself dropping it. I think when it comes to weight, that's a big challenge. But it comes to power, the bike handles very well. I would say it's a mid-range bike. It's not a very fast bike. It's not as well a slow bike. It serves in the middle. So you can overtake very easily, but you can go as fast as you'd wish. The top speed of this particular bike, personally, which I have tested, is 175. However, I have a friend who have done 179, and I told David Morathi on old model. I want to say that old models performs better than this one. You know, this one currently is limited because of Euro 5 regulations, and they had to meet that. But the old models are better in terms of power and everything. However, in terms of throttle response, the new gen works very well than the old model. There's a lag. There's a lag on old model when it comes to acceleration, which they have been able to address so far in this particular bike. The sound of the previous bike sounds better because of it did not meet the regulations, emissions. This is inaitwa Euro 5, sijui inaitwa aje. So it sounds better. But in the new gen, you find that the sound is deep, yes, but not as deep as the previous gen. Simply because of those regulations, they had to meet those regulations. So when it comes to power, I would say on average on a score of 10, I'll give it 7. I'll give it 7. Simply because they haven't been able to work well on power to weight ratio. You'll find Benelli has a high-end power, but low-end power in terms of torque. The bike comes with 27 Nm. That is Newton miles. I don't know. I think that's a name. Yeah, but Nm, the torque, the power of the pulling power, it's 27 Nm. While it has a high-end power, which is now horsepower, of 38 bhp or HP or whichever it's called. So you find the balance of the two, and the weight, it's not actually the best, but works very well. It's not the best, but works very well. I would wish if they can be able to structure this engine, especially in terms of torque, to around 30-31. When I compare to CF Moto has a very good picking power because the power ratio it's well done, as well. The picking it's very fast because it gives you around 30 Nm against 27 Nm for Benelli, and the weight of the bike is a little bit lesser as compared to Benelli, though the bike doesn't have high-end power compared to Benelli. So that is something probably I would say Benelli has to compromise. However, the bike speaks very well. You can overtake very well, and you can move fast as you wish. The secret of this bike, if you're a good shifter, you achieve those powers very fast and easily. But if you're not a good shifter, you find probably delay in picking. You only need to know the rev match versus the shift for you to have enough power to pull very fast. So that's about the power. The cluster. When I talk about the cluster, I'm referring to the dashboard. To me, I think it's so basic, easy to understand, easy to read, and no major design on this particular one. I wish they can do better, but I think so far it's so good. I wish they can make it full screen dashboard, like the way you find them in Jap bikes, especially the GS. Yeah, Iso Akina GS, CB. You find CB, the dash is full screen, and so on and so on. But I think so far the cluster is fine. It's not wordy. It's easy to read. But I don't like the night mode. The night mode, if you're a newbie, you might find yourself confused between fuel and the temperature and so on and so on. The night mode is not that friendly as compared to light mode, though the mode changes depending on the light, so it sensors. Yeah, the fuel consumption of this particular bike, I'll tell you, with aftermarket or without aftermarket, the consumption is number one. I personally fueled full tank to Kisumu, and I did not add or I did not refuel until I got to my destination. And with around 1 bar remaining, and I did a few city commute, then Ikaisha, then I added. So the fuel consumption on this particular bike is very good. You can do the math. Kisumu is around 300 km thereabout on a 16 liters tank. So you can do your maths and see how much does it consume per kilometer. That one you can be able to do. So that is about consumption. When it comes to repairs, normal service, cost. I don't want to mention the prices of some items here, but the cost of this particular bike, it's not so expensive as many people think, but it can be expensive depending on the product that you consume as the owner. If you decide to go for full synthetic, like for instance, if you decide to use full synthetic oil for this well-known Motul, the bike consumes 3 liters of oil. So that means if you're using Motul, only count oil of around 6,000 oil peke yake. But if you're doing other oils like Protect or something, that's around 2,000. So almost not even a half, less even a half of the Motul if you're to use Motul. So the oil filter, you can use OEM, or you can choose to use aftermarket. Personally, I use aftermarket because OEM are not locally available. You have to import. That's a challenge that you are facing, but not a big challenge because we can get everything that you want online. I only need to just go there, click and get. The time to wait, probably that is a challenge. So if you want to do a full service on this particular bike, a normal service, maybe oil change, oil filter, just count around, if you're not using the high-end oils like Motul, just use that's around 3,000 plus the labor and you are done. Yeah, but if you're using Motul and OEM oil filters, just trust me, it will cost you around 8,000 to 9,000 for just normal service. If you're doing major service involves changing of brake pads and all that, changing the air filter. Air filter is washable, so recyclable, but you can't do it more than 4 times Itaisha. So, but it's not expensive. If you're doing major service, and you're using normal oil, just budget around 10k, because front brake pads, that is 2,000 to the 4,000. Rear is around 2,000 as well, so that is 6,000 for brake pads. Spark plugs, if you're using iridium, that is around 4k. If you're using the CR8, that is not iridium, Two of them cost around 2,500 thereabout. And air filter you can wash 4 times. So you can do the math and see how much you can use in terms of cash or cost for the full service. You don't have to drain. You don't have to drain. I normally see people draining every service, draining. What do you call it? The coolant. I don't know. I don't understand the reasoning behind that. But you don't have to change the coolant. The coolant is meant to stay as long as. Yeah, but the manual says you change the coolant at 20,000 or 2 or 3 years. But still, when I look at I'm on 20, but when I look at the coolant is still clean, still fine. So I'm not intending to change it soon. But I normally see every time people go for service, they change the coolant. I see a levy, Kwanini. So I think service. I have touched on service. Now the parts. Sasa hapa ndipo watu wengi wanashinda wakiulizia, do we have parts locally? To be honest, yes and no. Why would I say yes and no? Yes, because Captain will bring parts, but they don't bring a lot of them. They'll bring, and then 1 week they are done, and you go back to ordering online. No, because when now they are done, they don't stock very fast. So it takes longer time for them to stock new parts. So you find yourself, you have to import. I have owned Benelli for 2 good years. My older model, which I did up to 30,000, and then now this one I'm currently in 7 months, I've done 20,000 km. So that's around 3 years so far using Benelli. And I have personally not been worried about parts, because if I need them, I get them. The challenge is only to wait, which is around 3 to 4 weeks for you to get the parts. But anyway, what are these parts am I changing? So far I haven't changed any major parts apart from the rear shock. But the rest is, I haven't changed anything else. Unless you have an accident for you to change major parts, then God forbid. Always pray when you get on the road to always have a nice ride, smooth one and safe one, for you to go there and come back safe. But when you have an accident, you have to import most of the major parts. I would say 90% you have to import, because Captain will have them for 1 week, people buy, they end, and then we are back on our normal way. So, but however, I personally, as the general, I can assist you to get parts for each bike that you have, from 150, 200, and 300, even 502. I have my links in China, and I can assist you to get these parts, but of course at a cost. You have to pay for Naitanga ya macho, not expensive. I normally charge 12% of the total cost of the item with a minimum of 500 sharing, because I need to talk to these guys, source this part from them. They give me a quote. Some of these parts are not listed online, so I have to talk to them for them to source. Then they give it to me, and then they ship it for me. So I can assist. So for those who are thinking of getting a Benelli, it's not a major issue in terms of parts. You only need to practice a little bit of patience to wait for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They're about for you to get the parts. So the other item I would like to talk about is the headlight. The headlight of this bike, if you realize, the other old model I had aftermarket lights added. They are called auxiliary lights added, yeah, kama hiyo kizungu. But this one I haven't. Reason being, the headlight of this particular bike is super good at night. It works very well. It lights very well at night. So for me, so far, I'm not planning to add any other auxiliary light to the bike, because I feel I'm comfortable with this. And remember, I'm short-sighted. Yeah, I can see far. But with these lights, I think I'm working very well. But with the, of course, niko na macho ine. Currently, I had to upgrade to this for me to see things very well. Yeah, and I think the light is quite fine. The seat, very comfortable. If you want to enjoy a ride, especially a long ride, you enjoy with this bike. Hii utabambika, because the seat is very comfy. Your pillion will not get tired, yourself will not get tired. The only part, I think, when you're riding for a long distance, you feel tired. You know, the foot pegs are rear positioned, and therefore sometimes the feel unachoka miguu because of the position kidogo lakini si sana. But I think this is not a major issue when it comes to long rides. Because the position of this particular bike is upright, and you can ride and ride and ride for hours without getting tired. I have done Mombasa, I have done Kisumu, I have done Kisii, I have done Bomet, I have done Namanga, I have done so many long rides, and I think I have enjoyed this bike. I think if you want a long ride bike with a budget that is pocket friendly, go for Benelli. If I compare Benelli, this is my honest feedback. If I compare Benelli versus CF Moto 300 of the same kind, call, so sorry for that. If where was I? I was at comparing Benelli and CF Moto. If I was to give a honest feedback on the two bikes, one CF Moto, the other one is Benelli, I would actually say these bikes are neck to neck. Of course, they have difference. They have difference in terms of handling, difference in terms of weight, difference in terms of everything. But the two bikes are neck to neck. When it comes to picking power, CF Motors performs very well than Benelli. But when it comes to high-end power, Benelli works best on that. So on a line, we call it a quarter mile. Call it a quarter mile. Like let's say 1.5 kilometer. 1.5 kilometer ride racing, Benelli will outdo very well CF Moto, simply because Benelli has high-end power. But in terms of picking from the line, maybe gear 1, gear 2, CF Moto will pick it very fast. You take some time to catch up with them, but at high end you utakuta tu umewapita tu hivyo. But I would say it's that's what I'm saying, both bikes they are neck to neck. They have the advantage and disadvantage. CF Moto, the advantage is lighter, way lighter. So even maneuvering in town is easier compared to Benelli. So that's what you find on a long stretch. The CF Moto will pick very fast, but Benelli will come pole ikuwe imepita because of two things. One, the torque of the bike is lower compared to CF Moto, but it has high-end power. The bike is as well heavier compared to CF Moto, but the CF Moto is lighter. So you find that each bike has its downfall. But if I was to choose between the two, I would choose Benelli. Not because I call myself general of the bike, but because I love the outlook, I like the touches, I like, of course, the high-end speed, I like the sound, I like the masculinity of the bike and all that, and the quality of this particular bike. I wouldn't mind to buy CF Moto as well. The disadvantage of CF Moto, it's a good bike, yes, I can't deny that. It's a good bike. I can even, if you have money, I would as well tell you, go for CF Moto. But downfall of that particular bike is the price only. While I'm getting my Benelli with 400, this same CC, CF Moto, I think it's around, I don't know, 600 thereabout. Or the same CC. But they're equally, in terms of functionality, everything, they're neck-to-neck bikes. So I won't say that even CF Moto quality is super good. You know, I have ridden it, I know it. I have touched it, I have ridden it. So CF Moto as well is a good bike. But of course, the difference, as I had mentioned, you weigh your options. Pockets, spares, and all that. And you're good. You make your own decision. The sound of this particular bike, with aftermarket, maybe probably is a gurumisha so that you can feel the sauti. Neutral. There you go. These are some marks of dropping, you can see. like almost like cross spring, eh? Cross spring, cross, whatever. Cross plane, eh? But it's inline too. Sounds sweet, sounds good. Yeah. You may think it's a 600cc. Sounds better, and I love it. Yeah. So I think those are the major things I wanted to talk about this particular bike. Let me switch it off. So now that's enough fuel. I need to fuel. I need to fuel. So unless there is any question you may want to ask, I think I've addressed the major concerns about the bike. But I think it's a bike that we all sai ndio kusema mtaani. I think I was the second person to buy Benelli, and everybody else followed. The first person I think was mtu wa kucheza chini, so he never talked about it because I never learned about Benelli through him. I learned Benelli by visiting the shop and also through the website. And since then, Benellis are all over. Maybe probably I would say, for me being outspoken and as well moshene mingi about the bike, so probably everybody loved it. I think I was testing it, and I realized everybody now came to love it because it's a good bike so far. So thank you guys, and I think so far so good, unless there is any question. Acha nione kama kuna maswali hapa. How much is it? Someone is asking the cost. The cost, I personally bought it at 385, and currently it is being sold 400k without VAT. When now you add VAT, it comes around 460 something, 65k. I don't know how Captain is working on that, because most of us currently it's actually 410. It's not even 400, it's 410. But I'm yet to find out if the VAT still applies. That one I can confirm for you. But the few guys who bought the bike recently, they were subjected to VAT, so therefore raises the price to 460 something, okay? Because VAT is 16% of the total price. Any other question? Someone anasema nipige rev. Yeah, someone anasema kuhusu spares. I'm thinking about that, by the way, but you know it's very capital intensive. It's not easy to start a spare shop, but I see how I work around. If I have to sell KT for me to get the capital, I can do that anyway. Those are risks some of us might take. Yeah. Someone is asking, can you help me get it this month? Yes, they are still available. Currently, the CF, not CF, sorry for mentioning CF, but I think it's a competitor. Currently, the remaining bikes, we had 150, 251, 250, 302. I think the remaining units are around 5 for 302. So 150 are gone. I mean, they are done unless we wait for the next shipment. 250 as well, the street version is done unless we wait for the next shipment. The only remaining is 302, 5 units, 4 units TRK, actually 6 units for TRK. TRK is 51. We have 3 with top boxes remaining and 3 without. So prices might be different because of that. Might have a difference because of that. So you can go to the shop and you can take whatever you feel fits your pocket. The 502, I think 3 units remaining. Yeah. So I think we are still waiting for the next shipment. Maybe I will liaise with the guys at Captain. You know, I know how to go about it and get the information. And the next units will be coming, maybe probably in 3 months' time. And the rumor says we'll be having 3 or 4 units for 600i. hapa ndipo nitasema General achangiwa anunue 600i might be coming. So that's an information that I have so far, but not 100% confirmed. So we'll be having 600i, 502 coming on in, 251 coming in. I think 251 has sold very fast as well for the last few months. 250 I think hizo zinakujanga zimeisha, and the 150 zinakujanga zimeisha. They don't say 302. I think they also come and zinaisha. I think this time I think they have taken some time, I think because of the costing or and such. So probably in the next 4 months we'll be having 600i in Kenya for the first time. So if you eye 600i, but I don't know whether it's 2019 model or it's 2018 model or 2020 model, so I'm not sure about that. But I wish if they bring 2020 model, that will cost around 800k to 900 and to 1M thereabout. So if you have those muscles in terms of pocket, I think you can get one. The sound of that particular bike is on another level. So I think for those who are asking about having the bikes in stock, I think you can visit Kahawa Wendani shop opposite barracks, and you get the bike. Someone else is asking 542 is how much? 542 is going for 687, inclusive of logbook transfer. Yeah, I think that's the price, but I can as well confirm that. Any other question? Leo tunalewa wapi? Hii ng'ombe inaitangwa ya Alex. Inapenda kunisumbua sana. Leo silewi, naona nikifika Machakos Buddha. Lakini wewe unajuanga your sister in Christ. So we fight and the life continues and we get along. Any other question that I can address? Chana karau Sam. Yeah, I think so far those are the questions I have. And unless there is any other question, I wish to end the review because I have to do a random therapy. Yeah, because so far so good, and I have to do this often to ensure that, anyway, this is my hobby. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for giving me your ears, give me your eyes. I appreciate. I also be uploading this review on YouTube channel, Tony the Explorer. That's my YouTube channel. That's where I post my rides. That's where I post my reviews. That's where I post my shit. So you can find it there. Probably I will share the link after this. But I believe that you guys, you can support me in terms of subscription. Yeah, I would appreciate you guys coming to my channel, watch the videos I upload, subscribe, and let's support each other. And I believe that the value you add into my life, the value I add to your life, the information you give me, the information I feed you, that is very important. I think all of us, we appreciate that from that perspective, because we are not all know-it-all. I believe that we depend on others to know some few things. Some will learn on the way and all that. I'll as well be launching a new program, safety program on motorcycle, that I'll be doing a shoot every weekend, and I'll be sharing with you guys. I want, first of all, you remember the safety tips that I shared some time back? I want to go that route as well and share with you the same now on a video, and some classes as well I'll be doing online, and this will cost your time to listen to me, and your support as well, the ideas, the creativity. I'm not a videographer, so I may need some assistance on that. I am not good in English, so hiyo ni yenu, but I know when I want to write a warning letter, you will be shocked, but when speaking, that's hiyo ni kitu ingine tofauti. Ikifika ni ofisi, kazi ni tofauti, lugha ni tofauti, but ikifika ni kuongea, mambo ni tofauti. So don't mind my English. If you're here to correct me my English, go to hell. I leave myself na English yangu. Yeah, so thank you guys. Let's meet on the next move on safety tips starting next weekend. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Ciao.